All right, let's dive into a topic that is frankly one of the toughest ethical challenges a professional can face: whistleblowing. We're talking about a moment where your career, your conscience, and even public safety could all be on the line.
So picture this. You're at work and you see something that just doesn't sit right with you. Maybe it's a shortcut on a safety protocol, a flaw in a design, or some shady business practice. What do? Do you speak up, or do you just stay quiet and hope it goes away?
Now, before we go any further, let's be super clear about what we're actually talking about here. Whistleblowing isn't just, complaining about your boss. It is the specific act of reporting wrongdoing because you have a genuine concern for public health, safety, or ethical standards. It's a serious move.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the fundamental duty to speak up. Then we'll look at the different ways you can do it, internally versus externally. We'll touch on the big question of anonymity. After that, we'll walk through a 4-step checklist to help make the call. And finally, we'll talk about how companies can prevent this from ever being necessary.
First up, a duty to speak. This is really where the rubber meets the road, right? It's that classic conflict between your professional ethics and your loyalty to the people who sign your paycheck. And you see, for engineers and a lot of other licensed pros, this isn't just a suggestion. It's written into your code of ethics. You have a professional right to call out bad practices. But more than that, you have a professional duty to protect the public. The guidelines are pretty direct. If something is going to cause harm, you must speak up.
But what about loyalty to your company? Isn't this a betrayal? Look, some people might see it that way for sure. But when you weigh it all out, the ethical scales are clear. Your duty to protect society, to prevent people from getting hurt, that has to come before your loyalty to any one company.
So, let's say you've made the tough call. You know you have to do something. The next big question is, who do you tell? And this decision sends you down one of two very different paths. Your first option is to keep it internal. You go up the chain of command, past your immediate supervisor, and take your concerns to senior management. Your other option is to go external. This is when you take the information outside the company walls, to the press, to the police, or to a government regulator.
So you've decided where you're going to report. Now you have to decide how. Are you going to put your name on it, or are you going to do it anonymously? This is a huge piece of the puzzle. And this choice is a big one. If you go acknowledged, you're out in the open. That can give your claim more weight, but it also makes you a target. Staying anonymous protects you, but it might make it easier for people to dismiss your claims. It's a major strategic call with real consequences.
Okay, this next part is really the heart of it all. In the heat of the moment, how do you make a clear-headed ethical decision? Well, we can use a 4-point checklist to give us a solid framework.
These are the 4 big questions you have to ask yourself. Is there a real need? Are you close enough to the problem? That's proximity. Do you have the capability to make a real case? And finally, is this truly your last resort? Let's break down each one.
First up, need. And let's be clear, this isn't about office politics or things you just don't like. We're talking about a clear, serious, and significant harm to people. If what you're seeing doesn't meet that high standard, then it's probably not a situation for whistleblowing. Second, proximity. This is all about how close you are to the information. Did you see it with your own eyes? Do you have the technical background to actually understand what's going on? You can't base this on rumors or office gossip. You need to have direct knowledge.
Third, capability. And this is where you have to be really honest with yourself. Do you have the documents, the data, the proof to back up your claims? And do you have the personal strength to see this thing through? Because blowing the whistle isn't just one event. It's the start of a long, often brutal process.
And number 4, and this one is absolutely critical, last resort. Have you tried every other possible option inside the company first? Did you talk to your boss, your boss's boss? Is there an ethics department? Going public should only, and I mean only, happen after you've tried everything else and gotten nowhere. So we've spent a lot of time talking about the individual here, but the best case scenario is one where no one ever has to make this choice. And that really puts the ball back in the organization's court. It's on them to build a culture where this isn't necessary.
So how can a company do that? Well, it starts by building a culture where honesty is actually valued. They need to have reporting channels that are clear, easy to use, and truly confidential. You have to give employees a real path to talk to senior leaders. And maybe most important of all, you need managers who are willing to admit when they're wrong and fix it.
And that really gets to the core of it, right? The ultimate goal here isn't to have more brave whistleblowers. The goal is to build companies that are so open, so accountable, that the need to blow the whistle just disappears.
So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. For any professional out there, especially when public safety is involved, this is the question you might one day have to answer for yourself. When everything is on the line, where does your loyalty end and where does your duty begin?